let's shift to the other big story in Madison today and this week, the state budget. So last night it made it through the Assembly, and it's got to the Senate where it's promptly held up by a small group of senators who want changes to it. Patrick, what's the latest on that?
So yeah, if the path for Foxconn seems very clear, we know exactly what's going to happen with that legislation. With the budget, it is totally up in the air. The Assembly passed it yesterday on a largely, party line vote. It comes to the Senate now. They've got a big majority there, 20-13, but there are 4 senators who have concerns about the budget. They're holding out. 3 of them have put down a list of 9 things that they want to see changed. The Assembly says, don't make changes to the budget. We're not coming back anytime soon. Scott Fitzgerald, the majority leader, is trying to get, all he needs is 1 vote, it appears, to get him to 17. He's out there lobbying for that, but I just talked to one of these senators. It sounds like he's pretty strong no, so I think it's going to be hard for them to find that last vote, at least in the next day or so. If Fitzgerald ideally would like to come back on Friday on the budget, I don't know if there's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, is there any way, just on a practical matter, they can sort of get the vote without having to change the budget itself? For instance, by doing, get the commitment by saying we'll take up a different bill or we'll handle that in a different piece of legislation so they can keep the budget moving? Or is it going to ultimately require the Assembly somehow to come back into session?
Well, that is the key question. I mean, clearly Fitzgerald's ideal is to get the budget passed as is, then it's completed, it's sent to the governor, and the show's over. If Fitzgerald makes any change, I mean, here's the challenge for Fitzgerald. 1, the Assembly doesn't want to come back. But 2, if he makes concessions to these 4 conservatives and gives them something, then moderates or other conservatives are going to say, well, wait a minute, if we're reopening budget negotiations, I don't see this as a perfect document. I'd like to get X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden you have a bigger amendment with maybe 12 or 15 changes. Then the Assembly members start saying, well, hey, we think we could improve this budget as well, or I'd like to see this pet project or this provision. It gets to be pretty messy pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, let's, Dave, let me ask you this question. It's sort of similar to the Foxconn one as we look ahead to the election next year. This is the budget that the governor will be running on. Is he happy with how it's turned out? I mean, is this a pretty good platform for him next year?
Well, I would think so. And as I believe it was Jason Stein, Patrick's colleague, wrote going back a few months now, but very different looking budget than we saw when Governor Walker was running for president, when he wanted to appear very conservative. This is a budget that of a politician that, and I think he's going to get it, that is appealing to a broader section of the state. He's running for governor again. And it appears to me that the governor is going to get most of what he wants here. I think the interesting thing about the budget debate, though, has been that, and I've written this, we're a one-party state, right? The Democrats are moribund, so on, so on. Well, actually, we are a two-party state. We have the road-building Republicans, and we have the other Republicans. And they've been knocking heads over the budget.